Hey guys, today I want to tell you about my favorite tool for changing your beliefs, rewiring your neural pathways, and it's called Detective for the Opposite. So basically, you imagine yourself as a detective, like a detective from the movies that is gathering information on their little notebook and gathering data. And you can be the detective for the opposite for your pain. That's where I first heard the term used, actually by Curable, I think. They say become the detective for the opposite, meaning you would look for times you have less pain than you would expect. For me, I would notice correlations with times that I was more distracted and enjoying myself, and I would have less stomach pain and less symptoms, even if I had eaten a food that I previously, had associated with pain. So it's being this detective for the opposite, looking for basically times that you expect that it would be worse and it's not as bad as you think. And like I said, usually it ends up being times that you are distracted, that you're having fun, that you're talking to people, things like that. And then you could use it for any kind of limiting beliefs as well. So sometimes so I noticed a belief that I'm not a dancer. I noticed this like a year ago. I had this belief because I go to this dance class and some of the girls had danced their whole lives and I did gymnastics. And so I was like, I'm not a dancer, so this is easier for them basically. And it was, at first it felt kind of good, like, well, that makes sense. And then it kind of started feeling like a limiting belief, like, I'm just never going to be very good at this. So I started, thinking of myself differently and finding examples of how, I am a dancer, because what does that even mean, So what's another example? I'm trying to think of another example of a limiting belief that I've noticed. Recently. Okay, I had this belief that I noticed that I had about writing emails and answering posts, things like that. And it was kind of this subconscious belief that this is hard and it takes a lot of work for me. And then with this spirit of detective for the opposite, I noticed, in college, I really loved words and writing and the English language and poetry. And I do like words. I like this kind of stuff. And I thought of examples and I could start seeing examples of times that I could write and it was easy. So let me use an example also about pain, since most of you are listening because of that kind of thing. So an example that someone might notice with pain would be like, this happened with one of my clients, where she was saying she was really starting to believe that her chair at work was causing her back pain. She started with a lot of neck pain. Now she just has occasional back pain, and she just notices it when she's sitting down at work. And she's also in a kind of stressful job environment. And she said, I can, excuse me, she said, I can sit these other places. So she could sit on a similar type chair at home. So that detective for the opposite is this belief that sitting on certain surfaces is dangerous and that's what causes pain. And then versus starting to see what else is going on. And maybe sometimes when she's at work, noticing that if she's distracted with something or when she's feeling happy, she just got, maybe some validation that her back doesn't hurt. Seeing all the times that it doesn't hurt. Hopefully that train is not too loud. So anyway, I wanted you to just start using your brain capacity and its power for good. So basically our brain will run on autopilot. It will look for dangerous things. It will keep us worried and in fear, and fear, because of the pain fear cycle, fear amplifies pain. It just amplifies the brain's production of pain. So it's important to rein it in, right? To fear less and to have different beliefs so that that's easier to do. And sorry, I'm just turning around and trying to get out of the street. So I lost my train of thought. Now my face is shadowy. Okay, so anyway, what was I saying? Detective for the opposite. Oh, I know. Use your brain for good, right? Use its power. It will function automatically in its default mode, but you can also tell it to look for certain things. You could tell your brain to look for the times that you feel good instead of the default, which would be noticing the times that you don't feel good. I'm gonna turn around because that sun's right, or that shadow is right on my face. Anyway, I'm about done talking, just kind of talking and walking here. But give your brain a task. Give it something to do. Give it something to look for, and you will start to find more and more of that. And I have just really had every single client, once they start doing detective for the opposite, they're able to find some times that they feel a little bit better than they expected. And start building that case if you need to, even writing it down. Get a notebook like a detective from the movies, making every little gathering every little piece of evidence for the case. All right, you guys, have a good day. Bye.